read Foreseen Beyond Time. Foreseen Beyond Time, Chapter 11. Entitled Invisible Worlds. Word elves. The unseen worlds will become visible. Due to their subtle frequencies, other world vibrations have remained invisible to the physical eyes of man. Yet this changes around 2025 when the bringer of form Saturn, as a reality master, moves in the line of Neptune, the planet of illusions and mirages, in the sign ruled by Neptune, Pisces. As the frequencies of our minds and bodies take on a lighter, higher vibration, the brain will shift its energy to a state that makes it possible to see the unseeable. Neptune was discovered in 1846 when it was also just conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, sign ruled by Uranus, when Uranus itself was in Aries, blazing a new trail and opening up the thought process of humanity in terms of science and mind connectivity. At least the 19th century seemed like a new beginning, and in Russia you saw truly brilliant minds writing phenomenal pieces of literature. There was an atmosphere during that time of profound hope. The planetary inhabitants of the 19th century had still quite a long way to go until they would see clearer, and so here we have again the phenomenon of reality meets surrealism, meaning a test of time. Saturn-Neptune leading from illusion to reality and from form to formlessness. This is a form of interdependent origination at its best. The 19th century brought to light occult movements. Occult just means hidden. Hidden from the ocular. From the two eyes. 19th century brought to light occult, O-C-C-U-L-T, hidden movements such as the Golden Dawn. Franz Anton Mesmerize, healed people using powerful magnets, and other things of this Uranian-Neptune nature began to flourish then. Swiss-born Mesmer believed that a kind of psychic ether pervades all space, and that the astral bodies cause tides in this fluid or ether. Nikola Tesla and Wilhelm Reich worked with his findings one Uranus cycle later, only to be suppressed and killed. Tesla suppressed, Reich killed. On a political societal level, also in 1846, the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx was disseminated, proposed by the secret bankers of the world. And as you will see by 2048, we will be moving into a society that might be more tribal, more high-tech, and totally interconnected with its space brothers without relying on hierarchical teachings. By 2050, when we experience a sense of calm, which Neptune, ruler of imagination, develops in matters of spiritual cosmology and connectedness, we will understand extraterrestrial intelligence and apply it. So far, we had no clue about true cosmology, the origin of the universe, and we barely know where we come from. We live our lives based on what Jerry Zeitlin calls the scam, capital S-C-A-M. Society's, it's acronym, scam. Society's Common Approved Myth. S-C-A-M. Society's Common Approved Myth. We live our lives based on what Jerry Zeitlin calls the scam, Society's Common Approved Myth. Yet we do not even honor, let alone comprehend, our ancient myths. In 1846, a whole new science came along with Uranian inspiration and showed advanced frontiers. Now, as then, we will aim for early ubiquity, everywhere at once in the advanced stages. We know that we will soon reach the ending of time and the end of thought, and we will move by 2025 in the time of limitless seeing, when only direct knowledge will be of use or of value. This silent knowing is to be taught also to the future leaders of our tribal nations. Those leaders will be totally different from what we have seen in the last few thousand years. In Russia, you already see this happening, he said, pausing as Carrie responded. Well, Russia is highly advanced in these terms. I met young Boriska, who certainly has a lot of information about the extraterrestrial context of what you say. In a short time, Vladimir Putin also changed direction. Yes, he continued, the Master of Light. Putin's legacy is a Russia that does not depend on the Western powers. In and by itself, it is a masterful achievement. He knows how to use the mind in a balanced way. As was clear during his visit to the Shaolin Temple in the Henan province, China, he is a diplomat with Libra planets at birth, obviously able to mediate successfully between conflicting parties. This man of peace understood that his comeback was to be engineered in 2 stages after the Great Game. He will return as he had clearly foreseen the Persian Gambit. He avoided the problem, leaving Western powers to deal with what they created ages ago. He is a man of amazing intellectual elegance, trained by the ancient masters. Kerry added, I heard that Iran helped to oust Russia from Afghanistan and was instrumental in leaving CIA asset Saddam Hussein in power. Essentially, it seems that Iran played a double game with the so-called superpowers. Persia and Russia are brothers of the same tribe who became ancient enemies. He answered, this is a karmic conflict. The advanced Sufi mind would seek peace for all. This peace is not only about human beings, but it includes the peace of rivers, trees, mountains, the environment. That is a powerful Sufi philosophy which aligns with Zen. I take it that applies to the much talked about climate changes. There is a lot of confusion about what we are facing in terms of these problems, Kerry added. You see, the mass media play with simplistic notions designed to create fear and misunderstanding within the populations. He continued, industrial society has been polluting the planet from the mid-18th century. The problem began with the mindset. Let's rip off the earth and burn everything down in the name of human progress. This approach is now 200 years in the making. People were aware of the price being paid in terms of habitat degradation, and they went ahead anyway. The whole solar system is going through a change. There have always been changes. This discussion of whether mankind produces global warming is irrelevant. The issue is, are we going to act like pirates and take what we can? The problem is we are also dealing with questions of resource scarcity, and this always leads to conflict and wars are the biggest contributors to global pollution. Each one of us in the Council of Time Lords, ambassadors between different warring races, have their own specialties and missions. Climatology is one for climatologists, and my expertise is cosmic time travel. Each of us knows the point in each of our incarnations where we must interface with destiny if we are at all serious about setting the priorities in our own lives. With respect to time travel, climate change is about how each of us responds to ages of chaos. Once more, it is not so much the outer phenomenon that needs our attention and focus, but it is the inner response that is vital when meeting these issues. The inner response creates the human future. It is important to understand that the general mass alarm has nothing to do with addressing what is truly happening. The World Bank and similar global institutions are financing the destruction of the planet. So-called biofuel is already being used to extract protected resources from areas now under siege. Global consumption has become a disease. Kerry asked, how do you relate all of this to time travel? Through the ability to perceive where we are going in terms of the worst possible future, an aware and forewarned humanity can change the future outcome by changing direction. In this sense, time travel is a mental, almost psychic exercise. Know where the dangers are and you may not go there. Krishnamurti called this choiceless awareness. I studied Krishnamurti's teachings and I know where you are coming from, she added. Unless human beings have a sane, healthy relationship with the land they live on, they act in ways that destroy their own future. Similarly, without respecting our own selves, we will not respect the earth. It is important to establish a relationship to our own guidance. In terms of the time travel awareness, this guidance comes from our own future selves. Using the mind or the guidance from within, right action is achieved while paying careful attention to the living signs our environment gives us on a daily basis. By living signs, I mean the simple shamanic or seemingly random little things we can pick up every day when walking around, in a forest while observing animals, or in a crowded city street while paying attention to people, provided we are awake and alert to even do that. In terms of my work, this includes a living mind technology. When scientists use the mind of the seer, they will find the solution. The problems facing mankind are not of a runaway planet out of control, but are related to the flawed states of our minds. The unseen reality is that the Earth is protecting itself and us with it, although the ecosystem is currently in a state of upheaval and collapse. There are key points in the solar system and galactic orbits where things change. Complete transformation occurs and the magnetic frequency of the Earth is forever altered. It is only Earth that undergoes alterations, but the Sun and all... It is not only Earth that undergoes alterations, but the Sun and all planets known to our scientists experience similar cyclical changes. The Space Federation have reported observing the effects of storms on Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Triton, and Mars, and many other orbiting bodies in our solar system. There have also been magnetic field changes. It is not correct to say that mankind is the cause of or responsible for creating the current climate change. It is, however, equally incorrect for humans to think they can continue to pollute and literally destroy the earth they walk upon. Future generations will be affected by how we walk on the surface of the earth today. The process of planetary change is natural. This cycle of change will happen regardless of the ecological situation on planet Earth. The decisive and fundamental problem for mankind is its own collective state of mind. Human beings are not in danger from the planet they inhabit. They are a danger to themselves. In that respect, people are totally out of step with the cycle now unfolding. I know that you have been warning people for many years already about powerful earthquakes, devastating storms, catastrophes, flooding. How is that different from the general information seeping into society now, she asked. When I began to warn people in 1999 that catastrophic changes would alter the earth, I also pointed out the solutions, such as the constructive use of hemp for building, for clothing, for heating, for food, medicine, and much more. Stop there, page 87. Chapter 11, Foreseen Beyond Time. Namaste.